I'm the ugliest person in the world. I thought everyone looked like me. I couldn't recognize or tell that they didn't look like me. Someone posted a video calling me the world's ugliest woman. Over 4 million views. I don't even know why I clicked on it, but I did. And instantly, my stomach dropped. I saw the comments calling me a monster.
The first comment that I read said, "Will you please do the world a favor? Go get it and put it to your head and just kill yourself."
If you were gonna be so ugly, why didn't your parents you? And I just sat there and scrolled through every single one because I was so desperate to find one person that was standing up for me. To find one comment that said, "You don't know her story," or "She's just a kid," or anything. That video crushed me. Everything sort of just came to a very halting stop, crash, rumble. I don't even know what to call it. I was devastated. I cried for many days and I fell asleep crying many nights. I was really confused and upset and angry. What in the world do I do now? I was born 2 pounds, 10 ounces. I was very, very tiny. I stopped growing in my mom's stomach, so I was born early.
The doctors had said they had never seen a child like that, and they didn't know exactly what was going on with her.
Before they took me in to see my mom, they took a Polaroid picture of me and showed my mom the photo and said, "We want to show you this before we show you your daughter." They think that they're going to be scared of their own child. And she pushed it away and said, "Bring her to me right now."
To me, she was already Lizzie. She was our daughter. She's tiny. It doesn't matter. She's our baby.
How does the public treat you?
It's hard. They look at me like I'm a monster. The very first time that I realized something was different about me was when I started kindergarten. The kids who were in my class were very confused as to why I didn't look like them. A lot of it was just name calling, pork chop legs and grandma and why are you so skinny and pointing in the stairs. Oftentimes there were no words said to me, but it hurt as much as someone screaming something hateful to me with a megaphone. I would sit here and hide, and then other kids will stare at me or just not be nice. I remember going up to groups of kids that were playing and they would just walk away. Adults would just stop pointing and giggling and looking at me like in disgust. It really, really got to me. I felt like growing up, I lived in 2 different worlds. At home, I was just Lizzie. And I looked like everybody else and everyone treated me exactly the same. I was now entering this other world where I had to face the reality of, no, I do not look like everybody else. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how hard I prayed, no matter what I did, I was not going to look like everybody else. I hated looking in the mirror. I hated going out in public because people would just stare at me. I hated all of those things. How come I can only see out of one eye? How come my clothes don't fit like the other kids? How come I can't do this and can't do that? I was at a point where I couldn't accept who I was and I didn't know who to blame. But it wasn't until I was starting 9th grade that I decided I wanted to put myself out there. What am I doing? Nobody did this to me on purpose. Lizzie, stop whining. Stop complaining. We're not victims in any sense unless we allow ourselves to be. I was missing out on so much that I was given, so much that I was blessed with, and I was just hating what I thought everyone else would think was not attractive or not pretty. Then I go to transition into high school and I'm at a point where I'm starting to accept myself. I can look in a mirror and appreciate and have gratitude for the reflection that's looking back at me. I wanted to join different activities and organizations. I tried out for cheerleading. Cheerleading was something that was a lot harder than I thought. I was really happy. Everything was going well. It was afternoon. I decided to go look for music on YouTube, and that's when I found it.
I thought it was going to be kind of the end of my life being happy.
The more I scrolled, the lonelier I felt. I don't think I'll ever be able to adequately describe what I felt in that moment. I worked so hard to get my confidence up to where it was. Now that doesn't even exist. It felt like within 2 seconds, everything that I had worked for up until that point was just sort of knocked over. It was horrible and I hated it. And that was mostly because I hated myself at the time. How in the world can I forgive the people who told me so? Little did I know that that moment was going to be such a defining one. I knew deep down I was not going to let this video or those people become the definition of who I was meant to be. It changed everything. I could only have my one sad cry, and then you have to move on and look at the positive sides of things. And I think that's where the light was turned on for me, that I'm not going to sit here and let their words become the definition of who I am. We all know what it's like to feel like you're not good enough or pretty enough or strong enough. About a year or so after I found the video, I was asked to do my first speech for my assistant principal. She asked me to speak and tell students my story. Halfway through, I looked up and I realized that everyone was just listening. It was silent in there. Everyone was looking at me and they were so quiet, and I could see like tears in people's eyes, and there was a connection. In that exact very moment, I had never felt more comfortable and confident in my own skin. And I realized we all know what it's like to be bullied. I looked up and there was like a line of students who were wanting to come up and hug me and telling me how much my story touched them. I get chills thinking about it because it was just like this moment of like, I'm gonna be okay. That was the day that I found my purpose. This is my purpose. This is what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life, because I like to think that I'm not only telling my story, I'm telling everyone's story.
She's known as the ugliest woman in the world and one of the most inspirational women I have ever met.
She did a TED Talk that knocked me out.
She was brought into this world with a purpose, and we're all learning from her, and we get our strength from her.
I think you only have to spend about 5 minutes with Lizzie to appreciate that she is one of the most beautiful women in the world.
I think you're perfect.
My time on Earth has taught me that being human isn't easy, but it's one of the greatest gifts in the world. I think going through so many good times and bad times and ups and downs has been one of the greatest things to ever happen to me, because it's taught me that I can be really strong and that I can get up and overcome any obstacles. But it's also allowed me to really allow myself to feel every type of emotion that a human is meant to feel. No matter how different you are meant to be in this world, and being different is unique, and that is so special. Your purpose in life is out there and waiting for you.
People need to know that no matter what you look like or what you go through in your life, you don't need to be judged because of your outer appearance. And you don't need to let that stop you. You don't need to let the negativity hold you back or keep you from living your life the way you want.
The only person you need to feel holds you on this certain level of beauty or standards is yourself. You are the only one who has the right to fully embrace and express and own your uniqueness, your differences, because your differences are what makes you unique. Went from seeing my whole situation or my appearance from being a curse to being one of the biggest blessings I could ever ask for. Having that bad video and having all of those people tell me all of those things, that was 1000% meant to happen. And it sounds crazy for me to say that, but I would never change it.